So we're dragging this Ford Louisville in the shed because this is the engine I think that we're going to use in the W model. I'm hoping anyway. It's one of the two options that should run. So I got some video of taking it off the truck, so I never recorded loading it up when we bought them, but it was a bit of an impulse buy. I bought them a couple of days before I went on holiday, and they're on Marketplace, and I saw they had 692s in them, so I thought they might come in handy. So yeah, we're just going to drag it in the shed so I can work on it. And it's been, the bloke I got off had never had this one running. He was just using it as spare parts for that other one over there, and that one got water in the sump, but this one he never even had going, so it hasn't been going for probably a good 10 years at a guess. So this video is a little longer than what I normally do, so feel free to let me know if you don't like it or it's not your thing. But I do a lot more mechanical work in this to get the engine up and running. So if you don't really want to watch that and you just want to hear noise and see smoke, skip ahead to around 49 minutes. As I was saying, we picked both these Louisvilles up from the same spot, so this is one of the engines I'm hoping will be a good candidate. It's reasonably dry, a little bit of oil there and there. I think someone's tried to get it to go, which probably isn't too promising before, because the air intake's off and there's a bit of plywood sitting there, so it's just been open. It bars over and the oil's good, there's no water or anything in there, so it looks clean. So as long as it didn't run away or something on them, then we should be good. I'm going to pull the rocker cover off. They're a pain to get to in these Louisvilles. If they've got jakes, you pretty much can't get the rocker cover off without unbolting the front cab mounts and lifting it up, the cab up. So I'll see how I go. I'll try and get this side rocker cover off and have a little look in there. So I'll do that quickly, and then hopefully I'll get it going tomorrow if I get a chance, because I need to get it out. I'll get one of them out and swap all the accessories over and get it ready to go in this Kenworth. So I'll have a see if I can get it off, and we'll go from there. I've just got this rocker cover off. At first glance, it's probably not looking great. I don't know why, but you can see that exhaust valve bridge. Let me try and get in here and show you. It's a bit awkward. That's just chilling. So I don't know what the story is with that, unless it had a stuck exhaust valve and the rockers pushed it down and they've stayed down, and then one's come back up and popped it off its seat, maybe. Or yeah, I'm not really sure what the go is with that one. It's a bit of a pain. And this is why you pull things off and look at them before you try and start them. Clearly got one stuck injector there. You can see that plunger is nowhere near that, so it's stuck. All of them on this side are stuck. So I'm just going to turn it over and try and get it. It's not good. Yeah, we're not looking too good so far. What do we got here? Broken head bolt. That's probably not good. Appears to be the only... Oh no, there's another broken one. Oh, that means this has probably run away. Oh, it's annoying. So we've got 2 broken head bolts. Which isn't ideal. We'll have to pull the other side rocker cover off and have a look on the other side. Okay, try and sit you in there while I undo this side. With the other side looking the way it does, they're probably not looking great. 2 broken head bolts, a exhaust valve bridge hanging off, so we're probably not looking great, which is a bit annoying, but you get that. So I'll have a look at this side and see what damage is on this side. Hopefully nothing, but it's never that easy. Which, it's not that big of a deal, it's just annoying because I was hoping this one would be a bit better than the one with the leaky airbox drains. Like I can do work on them, but I just would prefer to put a motor in it and get the truck, the W model, running and on the road, because I don't want to spend a long time rebuilding a motor if I don't have to. Not yet anyway. I'd rather have an 892 sitting there and rebuild that to put in it in the future. So we'll just see. And if this side's any worse than the other side, it won't be looking good. At least at the moment I could probably just get those. I could start it with the 2 broken head bolts just at an idle. I don't think it'd do too much damage, but then I could put that valve bridge back on. See if this side's a bit harder because it's got the exhaust in there. Get rid of that. At least all the valve bridges are on this side. That's a start. I don't know if I can get this off with this exhaust crossover here. It's kind of riding my way. I'm not looking too good to get that off. Dropping all kinds of dirt here. No, that's not coming off. I don't have any broken head bolts. I mean, this side's really clean. That's funny. So it's got different injectors on this side to the other side. This side's got 9A90s and the other side's got 9G90s, and I would assume that they would be different, I would think. We've got 2 stuck injectors on this side, but head bolts don't look broken, so there might be a chance at starting this still. I reckon. Okay, I'll just give you a bit of a look inside. So look in there. So I think all the head bolts are alright. You can see the blue there, 9A90. That's how you tell what injector it is. So I'll have to look in the injector book and see if it actually does have different injectors in each side. Because if they are different, that's definitely a bit special by whoever did that. I'll just see if I can sit this back on for now until the morning. I'll go back and show you the other side. Ooh. Well, at least this side's alright. I wonder if it has run away or not. It's hard to tell. Where are we? This side. Oh, sorry. 9G85 on this side. You can see down there. If I put that. There we go. 9G85. 9A90 and 9G85. Interesting. Well, we'll find out tomorrow. We'll sit that valve bridge back on and yeah, we'll free up the injectors and see what it does. It turns over, so it'll do something. I'm undecided if I might. It won't be easy to get those head bolts out. If I pull the rack off, I might be able to get something down there and twist the bolts out and put 2 new bolts in. I'll see how I'm feeling. There you go. Interesting. Alright, we'll resume this tomorrow. I'm just going to pull the airbox covers off quickly before my phone dies and just see. I'll pull one of them off and just see if I can see any damage here, because I'm really not sure what has happened with this one. It's either someone's dodgily put this side back together, and it's never run again, or it ran away and that was it. It's hard to say what's happened. You never know what people do. People do some weird things. They had the throttle on the top of the governor, cable tied like at idle. So they must have been thinking that when we start it, if we cable tie it back, it won't run away. So they obviously didn't know how they worked. Really? Sure. Must be glued on there. Give it a bit of a hammer. Let's see. Okay, now in here we can see, I don't know if you can see, not really, we'll have to hold it. You can see pistons and rings. Doesn't look too bad. I'll give you a quick look, you guys a quick look in there, so you can see. A bit difficult, but see, yeah, in there, that's piston, and then in this one, that's the top of the piston, through the holes in the liner. Now, I've got to try and show you what I'm seeing. It should be very difficult. It's not easy to hold. Okay, we'll just raise me back. Try and show you. Okay. See, there's no bits of ring. If it ran away and grenaded itself, you would think you would find bits of ring in the airbox. I don't want to squash the valve bridge either. Still got compression. That's the main one. I wanted to make sure there was no chunks in there, that the piston hasn't hit the valve. But it doesn't look like it. I don't know if you can see in there, but oh yeah, there. Yeah. So anyway, if you don't know, that's where the air goes in. It sucks that the blower, the scavenger, because it's not a blower. It is a blower, but it's not a supercharger. The blower forces air in there, in those holes, and then the piston comes up, rings cover those holes, and then once combustion happens, exhaust valves let it out, piston comes back down, air's in, closes again, and that's why it's a two-stroke, because it fires every cycle, unlike four-stroke, which has to draw in air, compress, combust, and exhaust. That's a four-stroke. This is just draw in air and combust. Okay, I don't see anything too bad, so we'll carry on tomorrow now. I just had to look at that, otherwise I wouldn't be able to sleep. We'll be back soon. I'm back out here this morning. I'm going to get rid of this air cleaner box, air filter thing, so I can get my head in there and work on it to assess the damage and what's going on. So there's only 2 bolts holding this on, it's just sitting there, so I'll set this camera up somewhere and make a start on it. Now we can have a better look at what's here. So you can see that valve bridge is supposed to be over a bit more. It's recessed at the back, but I'm not sure if it's had a stuck valve and one stuck valve but not two, and it's slipped off the front one while the back one's been stuck down. I'm not sure, so I'm going to put that back on. It's missing one bolt in the rack down there and the two broken head bolts, so I'm going to pull this rack off and try and see if I can get these broken head bolts out, so I can put two second-hand head bolts in, just to hold it down, because I don't want the head to lift or do anything if it does start. So I'll try and get those out now. Okay, I got that rack out the way. Now we can see broken head bolts. I have no idea why. If they've been done up too tight. I don't know if it's focused, but there we go. Yeah, so I'm not sure what the go is with that. Now I just got to see if I can get the broken bits out. So that could be fun. And you can see, there we go. There's that. I'm going to put that back on as well. But I'll see if I can get these broken head bolts out. You can see this is a free injector here. That's working fine. This one, no good. This one, no good. So they have to be freed up. You can see that one's clearly got a big gap there anyway. I'll get a long seal pick and see these threads are going to twist out. Okay, this could take a while, so I'll time lapse it. It is turning a tiny bit, but it's gonna be slow progress, I think. I'll put it on time lapse and I'll be back soon if I have success. Okay, I think I'm onto it now. I got a screwdriver in there, and because it's broken off so jagged, it is turning. And then hopefully I can put a magnet down there and pull it out, and that'll be one down. Focus. There you go. I got one. I'm pretty pleased with that. So you can see, for some reason, it's pretty thin there, so I wonder if someone's over torqued it, or yeah, I'm not sure. Or maybe they reused them. Maybe this head's been off and they reused the bolts. But there's one. We'll try and do the other one now. Okay. My head will be in the way again. haven't been able to get this one to move yet. So I don't know if I'm going to have as much luck with this one somehow. Okay, I'll have a bit of a play with this one and see if I can get it. So I've had no luck getting that second bolt out. I only got the first one out, so I'm going to put this one in, torque it down and put the rack back in and see if I can get it running before I go too far into it, because I'm going to have to pull the head off to get that bolt out, sadly, which is annoying because I thought I'd be able to get it out, but it's not going to happen. So it's just too tight for some reason. I don't know if it's seized or been cross-threaded or what, but doesn't turn. This one just wound out without too much effort. So do this, pull the other rocker cover off, see if it runs. If it runs, I'll put it's missing a radiator hose up here, I'll change that, free the injectors up, and then we'll go from there. According to me, this is torqued to 136 Newton meters plus 120 degrees, but I don't want to snap it, so I'm going to be careful. So 120 degrees should be from there to here. According to me, if I know what I'm on about, which isn't all the time. As long as this bolt doesn't snap, because you're not supposed to reuse these. They're tight. Oh. Have to go the bigger bar. Shit. Oops. A little bit more. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I kind of reckon someone snapped them doing them up, and they've just chucked them in there to get away with it, because this clearly had Jake's, because it's got Jake rocker bridges on it, and the different injectors. So I think someone's changed the head and just whacked it together with the broken bolts once they broke them. But I don't have any O-rings or anything for the to pull the head off, so that's why that has to wait. Put the rack back on. Actually, I'll free the injectors up with the rack off. Okay, I have cut myself a bit of aluminium to use as a punch, and then I'm just gonna take that down there and grab a hammer and give the injector a tap. Now, it should come back up. Sometimes when they're really stuck, they need spraying. Take the fuel lines off and spray down there. But then I might have to do this yet. It is fairly stuck. Might have to take the injector off and spray some down there. The other thing you can do if they're really stuck is pull this rocker assembly off and put a pair of vice grips on there to pull it up. But I'll try a few other things first. So after a fair bit of tapping, I've got it to come back up and see. Now, look at that. Free as. It's even better than that one, really. See, they almost fall back out themselves, and if I give that a bit more of a tap, you can see that rack pretty much just falling back out. So it just takes a fair bit of working it back and forward. See, this one's not quite fallen out, so if I give that, oh, there we go. Just that one's really good now. Actually better than this one. Now this back one, see that's stiff. No movement. If I give it a tap, actually that one's right down. I've got to bar the motor over a bit. 1 second. So you obviously got to make sure that the injector rocker isn't right down, or otherwise it's got nowhere for it to move. I also got that rocker bridge back on. I just stuck a screwdriver on top of the valve and pushed it down and put the bridge back on. So this one's stuck as well. I'll work this one a bit and get it freed up. no luck. I've pulled the fuel lines off and I have folded the rockers back, and I'm going to clamp a pair of ice grips on here and see if I can get it up that way. See it pop up a little bit. And then hit it back down, and then
You spray?
I've put WD-40 down the fuel lines because I've got them off now. But yeah, it's the worst one I've had to do so far, even on the other motor. And that's it pretty much. And then I hit it. Now I usually hit it with, so with a lot of struggling I finally got that one freed up, mostly. That was the worst one I've had to do so far on any of them, but as you can see, we're getting somewhere now. About time. Once they're freed up, they're good. They just take a while to get to that stage. But yeah, that was fairly stuck down, that one. And I've got every tool out of my toolbox. Trying to free that one up. Just need a rag. I found Where's Wally's t-shirt. So yeah, I had to pull the trunnions off for the rocker and fold them back, and it was quite the ordeal. A lot of things I read, most people say, oh, injectors are cheap, they're a serviceable item, change them out when they're stuck, but and then some people do it like this, so for the sake of just getting it running, I'd rather do this than change injectors when I don't know if the engine's any good or not. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where this had come off and was sitting off to the side, so that somehow made its way out of from the top of the valve stem. Whether it was a stuck valve or what, who knows. Also, this is the difference between a rocker Jake bridge and a standard one. This is where your Jake pushes down to hold the valves. So there you go. This head's obviously had Jakes at some point, so I don't think this head is from this engine as far as I can tell. Just like that, and then take me bolt out that I used for a pry bar holding spot, fold it over, push the rocker shaft back through there, stick the trunnion on the end, like that. Bolt goes through the trunnion and through the shaft. Do the same on this one. got that many tools falling down everywhere around me. And then put it back in the bolt holes and do it up. I don't know what the torque spec is for these, I'll have to look them up. We'll look up the torque spec and tell you that in case anyone's doing the same thing as me and doesn't know, because it's easier to just watch a video and have all the information. I do know that, I don't know what the torque spec is either for the fuel lines, but you definitely don't do them up very tight because apparently they crack really easy. So you don't want to do them up much at all. Okay, I'll go find the torque spec for those. And we'll be back. Okay, we've got a bit of noise now, but the rocker shaft bolts are 136 Newton meters, and I didn't find anything on the fuel lines, but other than just don't do them up too tight. So I'll go easy on them and just nip them up a bit. It doesn't matter too much about torque specs on this head end anyway, because if I use this engine I'm going to have to pull the head off and do that broken head bolt, so it doesn't matter really. As you can see, these are all moving nice and easy. And here goes. If I can get it started. And then 1/2 inch spanner. Everything's falling on the ground. I have too much stuff here. I'll be able to make sure these don't leak anyway when because I'll start it with the rocker cover off, so won't do them up too tight, just nip them up. I also need to find another bolt for the rack because it was missing one. So I'll go to the engine out of that W model and see, hopefully it's got a bolt. It's had a head off it as well, so everything's just sitting together. pipe. So rocker cover's loose as we saw last night, but I gotta get rid of that section of exhaust pipe so that I can actually get the rocker cover out. So this side's actually a lot cleaner than the other side. We've got 2 stuck injectors, you can see there, and this has got the standard rocker bridges, doesn't have the little flat on each side or the big circle head for the Jake head to push on. And this is the one with it's got different injectors to the other side. This is 9A90s on this side, and the other side's 9G85s. I have had a look in the book and they are slightly different size. I'll have to be looking at the book when I talk about it, otherwise I'll definitely stuff up what I'm trying to say. So we'll free these 2 stuck injectors up now, and then we'll be right to, I'll put vice grip on the rack, and then we'll be right to hook batteries up and see what it does. Right, so I've messed around with trying to get the pump primed. I think I might have primed it, so we'll see. If it works, I'll show you how I did it. If it doesn't work, it's no point because it didn't work. So let's see if it does anything now. I think I need to unhook the throttle because it's I think the pedal's sticking a little bit. Either that or the governor might need a little bit of a tune. Wow, sick. It's got good oil pressure too, about 55 psi I think. So what I did was, Cat SOS thing, it was not drawing fuel by itself, so I've got I've got a cat oil sampler. I took off the line straight out of the fuel pump, stuck that up the middle and suction fuel through. And in the other side, I've got it, I'm choking on diesel fumes, I've got it straight in a jerry can, bypassing that other filter because it didn't want to pull fuel by itself. So that's the go. Alright, I'll unhook this throttle linkage here and see if I can get it to, it's got no water in it, so I'm not running it for long, like 10-15 second burst max. Okay, we'll give it another quick try, but not too long because, like I said, no water in it. I'll put water in it tomorrow and give it a proper run. It's super loud on this side because the exhaust manifold's broken, but we'll just give it a run and see. There you go, it runs. Don't know how well. I don't know how to tune it exactly, but it's got a massive exhaust leak and looks like we're leaking some oil over the other side. I'm not sure what from. But we'll have a look. Looks like it could be leaking out the oil filter, is it? The oil cooler is leaking fairly bad, and this side airbox drain is also leaking half bad. Interesting. Well, it runs. I'll have to put some water in it and give it a bit longer run and see what it does. But yeah, that'll do for now. At least I know it runs and didn't completely waste the day. So yeah, there you go. I'll put the radiator hose on next and run it for a bit longer, I reckon. But I'm happy with that for now. Gives me a rough idea of what to do next. Alright, we'll be back tomorrow. Here's a look at that other Louisville with the other engine in it. This one's the one that's putting water in the oil. The sump's already off it, so I'm not really sure. I haven't laid under there yet to have a look, but apparently it blew this radiator hose and then they stole it off the other one and put it on this, but it was too late. It already cooked itself, I think. You can see it was sort of leaking pretty bad at one point. This one's got jakes, I think. It's got wires. I haven't had the covers off to actually have a look, but as far as I know, I'm pretty sure it's got jakes. Chuck's in about the same condition as the other one. So yeah, I'm just going to take the radiator hose off this one and put it on the other one so I can fill it up with water and make sure it doesn't put water in the oil, and run it for a bit of time to see if it runs a bit better. The throttle's a bit sticky, as you saw, so I want to see if it cleans up and runs a bit better. So at this stage, I think I've decided I'm going to use the green engine out of the other Louisville chassis, and once it's in there, I'll swap the bypass blower in and the bigger injectors out of the original engine that come out the Kenworth, one at a time, to see, just because I want to see if they make a difference, fuel economy wise and power wise. So I'll just get it in there, get it roadworthy, and then I can play around with it and swap bits and pieces and get it to where I want. And then that other engine I just played with anyway, I have to fix that anyway, so I have to pull the head off and do the head bolts, because that engine's going to go in that white S2 over there, this one over here. So either way, I've got to do it, and I'm going to put one of those tipper bodies off the Louisville on the back of this S2. So this S2 here will have a 692 as well, with a tipper body on the back. So that's my plan for some stage in the near future after I play with this other truck, this other W model. I just want to get that on the road really bad, so I've got one to drive around and work and actually make some money back, because all I seem to do is spend money on trucks so far. It's probably because only one's on the road, but yeah, if I have it on the road, at least I can use it, I can pick stuff up with it, and yeah, take it to shows and stuff. So I'll get this radiator hose off and go put it on the other one, and we'll start it up again. Okay, I've got water in it, and it's holding water, and it doesn't appear to be going in the sump. Oil filter's still leaking a fair amount down there. It's the housing where the oil filter housing goes on, so I'm not going to run it for too long, because I checked the bolts and they seem to be tight, but it's still leaking. So I messed around with the fuel line some more just to get the return line running in there, so will have drained back, so it might crank over a little bit before it starts, but hopefully she still goes. But yeah, I can run it for a bit now with water in it, so I'll set this up and see if I haven't lost prime by letting it run back. it wants to rev up itself. I'm sort of bringing the revs back down while it's trying to bring the revs up. I'm not sure if that's something to do with the governor or it needs tuning up. I haven't tuned these before, so I don't know if it might be something obvious that I'm missing. That's the sort of puddle of oil I'm getting from the oil filter and the airbox drain. So I think you can see it, that's airbox drain dripping there. It could be putting, yeah, that side's definitely got some oil consumption. I'd have to pull off the airbox covers on this side and have a look, because it's definitely drawing more oil in than the other one, I reckon. And when I took this piece of pipe off here, it was full of oil the other day. So yeah, I think this one needs a little bit of work. So I'd rather just work on it and put it in that S2, and I think I'll use the other engine in this W model. But I've seen this runs now, so at least I know what I got to do to it, and I can order a gasket kit, and I'll pull the airbox covers off and have a look and show you them, and we'll see if there's anything broken. There could even be some bits of broken ring in this side. So I've made up my mind. We'll go look at this other engine, because that's the one I'm using, I reckon.
I'm going.
Here's the one I think I'm going to go with. So same thing, Louisville spec, but yeah, it just seems like a better engine to me. And it had a few oil leaks and stuff I'll have to sort out, but nothing was leaking straight away when I first ran it. So I think I'll go with this one, and I'll order a gasket kit, and then whatever gaskets need to be replaced I can do. This one's still got the data plate on it, so where did it say? It's 335 horsepower. It's hard to read. I think 335 at 2100 RPM. It's a bit hard to read, but yeah, so I don't think this engine's been messed with too much. It's got high rocker covers, but that's about it. So there's no jakes under there. I have to add the jakes. But yeah, it's all pretty much complete. So yeah, I think this will be the one that's going in it, and then later on if I want to put the bypass blower on it and the bigger injectors out of the Kenworth engine, then I can do that. You can see the two oil spots under there. That's out of the airbox drains. So this one leaks a little bit, but once it's up and running, it might not be too bad. So yeah, I think we'll drag this one in the shed and pull this one out. That's what I'm thinking anyway. And there's another video too, and another one, my first cab over down there. But don't know, I can't focus on them yet, otherwise I'll have too many trucks on the go. But yeah, I think this is the pick. Radiator's seen better days. But if you want to see this, the will it start on this engine, it's the second last video I posted up. You can see me get this one going, and it ran quite well. So Yeah. Oh, good. All right, I think we'll get it over to the shed. I was just sticking the rocker covers back on and I had to pull the exhaust off this crossover pipe to get the rocker cover back on, and you can see down in there just how oily this right bank is. So I pulled the airbox covers off and they're full of oil. So I'm going to get Dad to turn the motor over so I can check the rings and the bores, because something's got to be letting all that oil bypass. It's a lot more than the other side. It runs out of the airbox drain pretty quick. So, and that's why I say why there's so much black smoke when you rev it up. So that's all from that, I think. So I'll get him to turn it over and I'll take a good video of the bores, see if there's any. There's no broken rings, but sitting in there. But when we turn it over, there might be some scores in the bore or something. So we'll have a look and see. Okay, go. It does, doesn't it? No, not a great deal, I reckon. The rings are either just stuck or just worn out, because the cylinders don't look too bad, but when the pistons come up they drag a lot of oil with them.
Do they?
Yeah. So maybe when they did the head on the other side they put new rings and pistons in it, or new rings, and then this side's still original. Thanks for watching, guys. This is a bit longer video than I normally do. I know some people like the longer ones and some people don't, so sorry if it's a bit long for you, but that's this engine. The next video will be me pulling the engine out of that blue chassis that we just ran up before. So yeah, that's the one we're using, so that'll come out and get ready to go in the Kenworth. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.